This is part 3 of the story of Blossom, the awesome possum, who goes to visit Bill in his little house in the woods. Blossom was enjoying living with Bill. Well, she didn't exactly live with him. She lived in the shed behind the house, and Bill would bring food and share with her. After that night, when Blossom slept in the shed, Bill came with his backpack and said, "Let me show you around our place." So Blossom climbed in the backpack with just her nose and eyes sticking out, and he walked around where they were living. They had a very nice garden, but nothing was growing in it. It was wintertime. They had a little barn that had a cow in it where they could get milk from the cow. They also had a couple of sheep that they kept in the barn. And every spring, they would cut the wool off the sheep and sell it to make some money from the sheep. Well, Blossom thought a barn might be a nice place to stay too. But then she saw something else living in the barn. A cat. That must be the cat that I heard about yesterday, thought Blossom. What was his name? Bosco? Boro? Bino? Well, Bill put down the backpack and went over to pet the cat. And Bill talked to the cat like maybe the cat could talk back. He had never really spent much time with the cat, but he pet the cat and said, "I wish you could talk, cat. Sometimes animals do, and it would be nice to have a good friend that I could talk with." The cat looked at him like she wasn't sure. Well, it was a boy cat. He wasn't sure if he could trust this human or not. But he liked being petted. Just then, they heard a sound. "Bill, come to the house, Bill. I need you for something." "I'll be right there, Mom," said Bill. So he ran out the barn and up to the house, leaving the backpack with Blossom inside. Blossom wasn't quite sure what was going to happen now, but that cat came sniffing over towards the backpack. Blossom snuck down, crept clear to the bottom of it, but the cat came over and stuck its head inside the backpack. "Who's in there?" said the cat. "It's me, Blossom the possum," said Blossom. The cat jumped back. "Yikes, I've never met a possum before." Blossom stuck her head out and said, "Bill brought me home yesterday because I was so cold in the woods and he was lonely." "Why didn't you talk to him when he was talking to you?" asked Blossom. "I've never talked to a human before," said the cat. "What did you say your name is?" said the cat. "My name's Blossom." "I know Bill told me your name, but I can't remember." "Ha, Bill calls me Bosco, but my name is Meow Mix." "Meow Mix? That's an interesting name," said the possum. "Yes, I know. It's the name of our cat food. And when I was born, my mama named me after the cat food, Meow Mix. So that's what I've been called ever since. Well, I guess it makes sense, said Blossom. How long have you lived here? Meow Mix said, well, I was born here 5 years ago, so I'm 5 years old. Wow, said Blossom. I'm only 2. You just must know so much. Well, let me show you around, said Meow Mix. So she took her over to the cow's pen and introduced her to the cow. The cow's name was Missy. She took her over to the sheep and said, here's the sheep, and this one is Martha, and that one is Mary. Hi, Martha. Hi, Mary. And the sheep said, bah, hi, how are you? What's your name? My name's Blossom. I've lived in the woods all my life. This is the first time I've ever lived in a barn or a shed. Welcome. Please feel free to come visit anytime you want. I will, said Blossom. She enjoyed getting to know Martha and Mary and Missy and Meow Mix, and she learned all about life on a farm. How they looked out for each other and laughed with each other and told jokes to each other. It was like having a family. That night, when Bill came back, he remembered that he had left his backpack in the barn. When he came back, Blossom said, I think I need to help you a little bit. You've been calling this cat by the wrong name. His name is Meow Mix. What? Said Bill, and he picked up the cat and scratched its ears. Is your name really Meow Mix? And the cat nodded its head, yes. And Blossom said, and the cow's name is Missy. Why, hello, Missy, said Bill. And Missy said, hello. You can talk too. Missy shook her head. And Blossom said, she doesn't talk much because she's busy chewing her cud most of the time. And the sheep are Martha and Mary. Hello, Martha and Mary. I suppose you can talk too. When we want to, they said. Well, aren't we going to have a grand time, said Bill. And he scratched them on the top of their head, and they really liked that. It was Bill's job to feed them all, so he got a scoop of sheep food for the sheep, and he got a scoop of cow food for the cow, and a little bit of hay for both of them, and a scoop of cat food for the cat. In fact, he said, would you mind, Meow Mix, sharing with Blossom? Not at all, said Meow Mix. So Bill put another scoop of cat food out for them and some water for all of them to drink. That night, Blossom didn't go back to the shed. Blossom stayed in the barn where he could she could cuddle up with Meow Mix. Meow Mix was very warm, and they slept next to the sheep, and all that sheep wool kept them very warm. Blossom was very happy about that, and you know who else was happy? Bill was happy because he had friends. He had been very lonely out there, and that's why he got in a fight with his mom, because he was so lonely. But now he had friends. He was happy, and that made his mom happy too. So he went to sleep and dreamed about talking cows and sheep and cats and possums. The end.